Each of the companies today has a dual business model, and we expect that for the new for the combined company, to also go for a dual model. Now, what do I mean by that? The dual business model is a combination of direct product sales to hospitals, microbiology labs, and clinicians here in the United States, as well as a partnering and distribution model in Europe, Asia Pacific, and the rest of the world. We also have the product business. That's on the one hand the Curetis multiplex PCR panels, as well as our Univero kits and cartridges. But we also have a service business based on next-gen sequencing and smart artificial intelligence prediction models and bioinformatics. So it's a combination of direct and indirect sales on the one hand, and it's also a combination of a product business with a service and partnering business on the other hand. Key indication areas that the combined company is active in, and we're talking about life-threatening infectious diseases such as complicated urinary tract infections, urosepsis, lower respiratory tract infections such as pneumonia, orthopedic infections, intra-abdominal infections, and bloodstream infections. So if you just look at those 5 key indication areas that we're active in today as a combined company, you have about 10 million patients being hospitalized for one of these conditions per year in Europe and the United States. It's roughly a little over 50% in Europe, just shy of 50% here in the US. For example, in pneumonia, there's over 1 million patients being hospitalized in the United States with pneumonia every year. Similarly, for complicated urinary tract infections, you have well over 1 million patients each year that are really sort of the critical category. So these are sizable markets. If you look at typical average selling prices in the syndromic testing market, that's been, traditionally here over the last couple of years in the, let's call it $130 to $200 ballpark. That's between $1.5 billion to $2 billion market opportunity in total. On the one hand, we fought hard to get the first ever United States FDA cleared panel for pneumonia, lower respiratory tract. We're very excited about that, getting some traction. The other area that I'm really excited about is China. It's going to be one of the key growth drivers globally in the molecular diagnostic space for years to come. And again, we are pretty close to getting Chinese regulatory approval through our partnership with Beijing Clear. And then the other area that I'm really excited about, and also in the context of this business combination, is the Ares Genetics artificial intelligence-based algorithms, because those will, fit hand in glove with the Curetis Lighthouse, and the Lighthouse being sort of the other large global knowledge base in that space. And having the ability to combine the world's #1 and 2 databases in that space is going to be huge. On both sides, I think we've got several clinical and regulatory milestones. We've just completed the clinical validation and submitted to the FDA and are in the process of responding on the Curetis side for the AMR, antimicrobial resistance panel for isolates. And also for us, as we move forward, having the ability to put new panels onto the combined company's platforms. One of the areas potentially in the medium term to be able to put some of the Curetis content, the assays, onto the Univero 830 panels and take that through the clinic and through regulatory approvals. Key synergy is really in the area of commercialization. I think with combined companies' portfolio across multiple platforms, multiple indications, the most immediate synergy here in the United States is leveraging the targeted sales and marketing organization that we've built at Curetis US and make that the combined NewCo's combined marketing and sales organization in the US, selling the combined company's offering. Other areas of synergy clearly in the manufacturing side, where we have built at Curetis state-of-the-art, GMP-capable manufacturing facilities, clean room. They've been inspected not only to European standards, but also by the United States FDA. And then, of course, the key synergy is the capital markets. OpGen brings to this business combination a NASDAQ listing. We're going to combine the board, which is going to be a great mix of people and expertise from both companies. So those are some of the areas. But then, of course, over time, the R&D portfolio is also going to be really managed to maximize synergies and consolidate on those platforms that we believe will have the highest potential to create value for shareholders. This is not a business combination that's about redundancies and chopping staff. It's really about leveraging synergies, not having to duplicate, not having to rebuild certain areas, such as a sales organization in the US, such as manufacturing capabilities, not duplicating boards, etc. So I wouldn't look at this so much in the context of redundancies and more of avoiding duplicating certain areas and cost base on the operating expenditure that a combined company only needs once. I mean, so far it's gone extraordinarily well. I mean, in my previous life, I've already gone through a European-US transatlantic business combination, merger integration, and post-merger integration. This one so far has gone extremely well. A lot of that has to do with the individuals involved. I think we think alike. We have we share a vision of building a precision medicine business across multiple platforms and be one of the leading players in that space. We've started early on involving key people on both sides of the Atlantic. We've already had visits on both sides. We've had a task force on both sides managing the integration and implementation planning kick-started. So I think so far there's really a lot of complementarity, not a lot of overlap, and people that get along well, which is always a great start to any business combination.